but really did it. I'm a Toastmaster, and one of the projects in our advanced electives was to do a podcast as a sample. And during COVID, I had been interviewing older ladies and men who were shut in, as all of us were. And I just found it so wonderful to be able to listen to their stories and maybe give them a little bit of hope that things are going to be okay. And I thought this would be a great thing to do as, something for me to give back.
In today's episode of my podcast story, we have Victoria Noethling, the dynamic host of the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. With over 40 years of experience in the corporate world, including a successful career as a project manager for Fortune 500 companies, Vicky has transitioned her expertise into empowering entrepreneurs to enhance their communication and leadership skills. Her podcast is renowned for its focus on servant leadership and personal development, drawing from my extensive background in Toastmasters and a passion for helping others build confidence. Vicky's journey is not just about professional success, it's also about giving back, as evidenced by her role in mentoring youth and her participation in the 1996 Olympic torch relay. She's here to share her inspiring journey on how she built her show from the ground up and how she's making a meaningful impact in the world of leadership. Tell us your name, the name of your podcast, and what your podcast is about.
Sure. Hi, my name is Vicki Noethling, and my podcast is Find Your Leadership Confidence Podcast. The premise of it, as I say, is it is to bring topics and guests who will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. I really want to be able to connect people to resources and experts that will keep them from spending a lot of times looking for answers when they're right there in front of them, and sharing the experiences of others so that you can really grow and develop the leadership skills and the confidence that you need.
Yeah. Well, how does the
podcast started in March of 22. So it is 3 years now. I have over 600 episodes.
Wow, 600. Wow.
Yeah, there's
Is it
500.
Is it a daily?
I do 6 to 10 a week.
Oh, 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
How does that?
I do usually 2 to 3 a day. So usually, I only do Monday through Friday. I have the weekends off to prep for the week. And so generally, as I said, it's usually 2 a day, sometimes 3.
Oh, okay. I'm curious. Why did you decide to do weekday daily podcast?
So when I started in 22, and working with Adam Homey, who actually did my training to be a podcaster as well as built my website and all, I said, oh, I'll just do a couple a week, maybe 3. But the more I got involved and loved doing it, the more I started to record. But I really did it. I'm a Toastmaster, and one of the projects in our advanced electives was to do a podcast as a sample. And during COVID, I had been interviewing older ladies and men who were shut in, as all of us were. And I just found it so wonderful to be able to listen to their stories and maybe give them a little bit of hope that things are going to be okay. And I thought this would be a great thing to do as, something for me to give back. And when I started my business as a speaker and a trainer and a coach for public speaking and leadership, I found that some of the networking that I was going to was really maybe 5 minutes at the most that you would get to tell people what you do and try to convince them to work with you. And when I do podcasts, I have 30 minutes to share in conversations with my guests to really let the audience get to know them and discern whether or not there's somebody that they would like to work with, that they might trust to work with. And so from that just became really a passion project for me.
Yeah. Well, out of curiosity, is the podcast something you're doing full time, or is it, something on the side?
No, it's basically what I do full time.
Wow, this conversation is going to be interesting because most of the guests I've been having on the podcast, they do podcasting on the side. So certain questions that were not applicable for me to ask. I said this conversation is going to be interesting because most of the guests I've had on the podcast, they do podcasting on the side. So most questions I would want to ask, it doesn't make sense to ask them since it's not their full time. Yeah. Well, I want us to step back a bit, right? Before you started the
Hmm.
podcast back in 2020, where did the inspiration come from? What led you to start the podcast?
So in 2018, I retired from UPS as a project leader. And as that project manager, was doing all things that I do today, coach and train and be always talking, using my public speaking skills. And then I decided after a couple years of being retired that I would start my speaker, trainer, and coach business. As I said, in doing that, to try to really find people to work with, to coach and train, I had to network a lot. And so I just found that podcasting was a great way to get my message out and invite people. When I was guesting on people's summits as a speaker, I would offer as a gift for them to come on my podcast. And so again, it just was a great tool in the beginning for me to meet people, to gain more resources for me to connect people with. I never think of myself as an influencer. I think of myself as more of a connector. So I connect you with people that need what you have, and hopefully people who need the services I have will connect others with me. So the podcast is really just my way to be of more service to those I serve.
Wow, you've been doing the podcast now for about 3 years,
Hmm.
600 episodes in, and
Yeah.
I want you to quickly like walk us through the operation of the podcast, how it goes.
So I try to systematically do it now, and I do owe a lot for the system to Adam Homey, because the system I use is his Reach system, but I have templates that allow me to efficiently, in minutes, be able to prep for a podcast. I have templates for my requests for you to join. I also have to say that Podmatch was a gift from the heavens, because I get between 18 and 20 requests a day for
Wow.
people that want to be on my podcast. So that is a tremendous thing. And I actually right now only guest maybe 3 or 4 times a month because I do so many hosting of it. But once I do the podcast, I use AI to do a transcript to help me with the final process. It takes me about now maybe 15 minutes to do the final posting after my daughter, who's my editor, edits the video from Zoom. And so I get the information out there. I use ChatGPT to help me write the social media post and the description, so that that could go very quickly, maybe 5 or 6 minutes at the most to get all that done. And now ChatGPT allows me to create audiograms and different things like that, as well as the Read AI that with the transcript creates trailers and highlights reels that I'll start putting out to increase my SEO.
Wow. Uh, Out of curiosity, right? Because now, I'm super excited, but I'm just trying to like keep it calm because the questions I've seen someone that can answer my questions. You do podcasting full time, right?
Yeah.
How much would you say it cost you to like run your podcast? I don't know if that's something you can share with us.
So my scheduling costs about $24 a month. And the Read AI that I use, not just for podcasting, so I use it for all my business, is about $24. And then Zoom, I have a special account with another group that I'm with that's only $15 a month. So it's, less than $120 a month for me to do my podcast. And all of the equipment that I have right now, I didn't start out with probably the first 150 podcasts. All I had was my laptop, the camera on my laptop, headphones, not even the earbuds. I had the wired headphones, and the microphone was from the headphones. So you can do it simple. I always recommend to people to start simple to make sure it's what they like. And then I invested in a Samsung microphone, which I think was $180. A camera
Sounds
that's
awesome.
on, yeah, the camera's on a stand that I can raise and lower. And so I use that
Wow, no
camera
wonder
as
you're
opposed
looking
to,
so perfect.
yeah. So I think it's important to invest in good equipment. Part of what I do as a speaker trainer is to talk about, what is the image that you have online so that you can be more engaging, and the better camera you have, the better sound, then people forget that you're online and they just get into the conversation, which is really what I want. I want that magic to happen when we're having our
Yeah,
interview, to just feel like we're chatting, just like you and I are doing.
yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm curious, right? Okay,
Hmm.
before I even ask you about how the monetization aspect of the podcast works, such that it's something you can afford to do full time and not have to do something on the side in order to support the thing you do full time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, are you active on YouTube?
I am. I don't have as high a subscription as I like, but yes,
Okay.
all of my podcasts are on all of the media. So YouTube, as well as my website, Spotify, Apple, all those things. So iTunes.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. In a short while,
so,
we'll talk about YouTube. But
mhm,
I
mhm.
want you to like walk us through, how do you monetize your podcast? How do you make money from your podcast to support it? Yeah, I mean, it's a thing of fun, but we have bills to pay.
So I guess it, if you remember, I said I'm retired, so I have money coming in from my retirement.
Oh,
For the
okay.
podcast itself covers those costs that I just gave you. Make about 200 to 250 a month from just Podmatch, and as being a host of all those podcasts that I do. I haven't started to ask for subscribers. I am I get people as my guests from the podcast to be part of my summits, which I do charge for them to be guest speakers for that. So each time I do a summit, I make a little bit of money, and
Okay.
and then I also have a collaborative book that I'm working on, that I, as authors, to be part of that book, I make a percentage of the cost to do the book from those individuals.
Okay. Are you still working on the book, or is the book like?
The book is just finalizing the authors for it, and so this summer we'll start the publishing process.
Okay. 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 Well, okay. So the book, the speaking summit, pod match. Okay. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
as
and
long as it
from
keeps the cost.
I was going to say, and also from the podcast itself being out there, I get requests to be a speaker at various places as well. So trying to start to monetize that.
Yeah. Well, you did mention earlier on that you don't have as much subscription as you want on the YouTube. What's the
Hmm.
YouTube looking like right now? And what are you expecting to have?
So for subscribers, number of subscribers, is that the question?
Yeah. Yeah, for YouTube. Yeah.
So it was over 200. Now it's down to 179. I think I saw yesterday. I probably have about 9 people out there that are trying to get me to work with them to improve my SEO, to increase the.
It's the same thing, yeah. Yeah, they'll send you this comment. Yeah, you're like, oh, who commented on my video? And then you see, oh, I could optimize it. And I'm like, dude, seriously?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
generic.
So, my deal is that if you want to talk to me about how to do that, then come on my podcast and tell everyone how to do that. And
Yeah,
I'll, help you grow your clients that way. But I haven't taken the bite for other people that just contact me on LinkedIn right now. I'm just trying to do these things that I believe will help grow my audience. I don't really, in social media, I do Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, post and promotion that way, but I don't, except for putting it out on YouTube, I don't do a lot of posting. So for these new upcoming ones that I'm doing, I'm going to start marketing on YouTube and trying to promote the videos on YouTube and see if that will change. And again, having
yeah, it's a
some
good thing.
reels and things like that to go out there.
It's a good thing you mentioned that. Do you have like a strategy, or is this like some of the things you were going to do? If not, I would love for you to like share some of the strategies with us.
Yeah. So for the strategy, as I said earlier, I use ChatGPT, and the version that I have now it's tied to Canva and some other tools. So I have some prompts that I use that allows me to create the social media posts just specifically for the different social media platforms that I'm addressing. And it knows me pretty well now after 2 years of using it. So it creates now little audio things and it tells you. I'm not really highly technical, so I said, well, give me the step by step, and it gives me the step by step, which uh, I'm going to have a VA do the step by step for me, but it can
Yeah,
create the little quotes from my guests so that it can put out there as just really short audios of to attract the audience to the interview, and then have the create little short reels with comments, takeouts, if you will, from the actual interview. So again, but all that is being created through the AI tool from all of the information that I upload from the actual videos.
okay, so you do upload the show notes or the transcripts to ChatGPT.
I give the transcripts to ChatGPT. Yeah. So again, that's their way to get to know me. And it was interesting. A few days ago, probably a week ago, I asked it to just do a brief intro for me of who I am and what I do, and it came up in probably 3 minutes. A beautifully written, accurate description of who I am and what I do that I can then use for intros for podcasts as a guesting, but also when I go speak, use that as my intro. And it proved to me that it is getting and understanding what I do well enough for me to trust the information that it is providing for me. So I still go through checks and things, but it was very, I guess, agreeable to me to see that the information that it is creating is on track and correct.
Yeah, I'm curious. Have you like ever tried all these other podcast tools that kind of once you upload your show notes, they will just on a click of a button, it generates all the show notes, all the quote, all
Hmm.
the key takeaways and all that. So you don't have to like keep prompting over and over again.
Yeah, so my Read AI that I use while the transcript of the actual podcast gives me all that. Gives me the questions, the key questions, the description, everything that I need that if I was in a hurry getting this stuff out, I could just use exactly what it has there because it does a wonderful job of that. It even tells me when I was engaging, when I wasn't engaging, as well as the guest. And that's helpful for me as my strategy to see, are the questions that I'm asking good questions? Am I keeping the audience engaged through those conversations that we're having? So, all those things that as a speaker trainer, I give feedback the same way to my clients, and so I find it a wonderful tool.
Hello, can you hear? Hello, can you hear? Can you hear?
Yes, better picture too.
Okay. Oh, wow. I don't know. Sometimes it looks as if the internet on my end is just playing with with my podcast.
Yeah, it is.
Uh, yeah.
Not anything
Okay.
that podcasters want to see.
Mm. Yeah, it kind of cut out the what you were saying. I didn't get.
I just said it that is not what we as podcasters ever want to have. It's, we never want
Yeah.
to lose internet.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you're having a conversation podcast, it's hard to like keep the flow going when everything is like.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
typically will
Wow.
ask just to reschedule because, I want the person to have a good experience. So I can
Yeah.
tell you that in Georgia here, every so often we'll have where the power just cuts out. And so then I'll have to redo the whole podcast.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that you're a speaker and you have like you're still active on Toastmasters, right?
Yeah. I'm actually
Yeah.
running to be international director.
Ooh.
I know.
Wow. Wow. That's Toastmasters. This one I'm having a lot of guests talk about Toastmasters. I think I should think about
You should
joining or even
join. You
bringing
should
one to my
join.
side.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a great, I call it my learning lab, my practice lab, that
Yeah.
get a lot of time to just be in that safe environment to be able to practice your skills of speaking. 'Cause I mean, you think about it, everything we do, we have to communicate well. We have to be
Yeah.
confident in our delivery, stay on point, and Toastmasters through their Pathways digital education program really helps you do that. It's a great organization.
Yeah. It's a good thing
So
I
you
have
should
someone
join. You should join.
I can
There's
reach out
we
to
have
if I ever
yeah,
anything.
we have
The
African
reason there's one time I checked in my state there was no Toastmaster, and in order for me to like get Toastmaster to down to the state, I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago. I needed to like pay like I think $50 or $40. I don't know around that amount. And when I saw that amount,
so
I was like,
so in the US it's $120 a year.
ooh, ooh, oh, wow, okay. So mine is subsidized. I see.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean it's worth it though. But yeah, it's worth it. I'll work on that. At least that should be one of those things I do in this year. Yeah,
All right, I'll
yeah.
check it. Check out if you join. We have some great clubs down there, but you can join a club anywhere. One of my clubs meets on Friday evening, and it's an advanced club, but we have people from all over the world that are participating because it's online only.
Okay, it's online only. Okay, okay. So,
Hmm.
but there is Toastmaster that is in real
In
life too.
person? Yeah, in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of. I'm a member of 5 clubs. A couple of my clubs here in Georgia, 3 of my clubs here in Georgia are in person and online, so hybrid.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
it's a skill you need to practice meeting in person as well as online.
Yeah. 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 For me, it's not just the fact that I need to start Toastmaster. It's just that I've seen a lot of persons that they struggle with speaking in public, and so
Yeah,
having something like Toastmaster is going to really help them. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I always tell people, I said, you know, a lot of times whenever people go through Toastmasters, then they might go get a coach like me to work with them. Invest more, especially, if you're an author, you need to talk about your book. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to talk about what you do and how you do it. So, check out a Toastmasters group to help you in that regard, or find a coach like me that if you wanted to just do one-on-one coaching, that definitely a possibility for you. But Toastmasters is 100 years old, has been,
Wow.
is in countries all around the world. And, it's almost it's so supportive. It's almost like a family where it's okay to screw up. Practice your speech or
Yeah.
practice your pitch in front of this group, and we'll tell you what you did good and what you might want to improve upon. But it's done in a way that you'll want to try to speak again, right?
Yeah. Earlier on, we talked about how the podcast make money and all that. Earlier when you started your podcast, there was this goal, this purpose you had for your podcast, right? And the question is, how is the podcast doing now? It's 3 years now. How is the podcast doing in comparison to that original goal you had when you started the podcast? The purpose you
Yeah.
had when you started the podcast?
Yeah, the original goal was just to do it because I liked doing it. And it really, I didn't really have a plan that I would be monetizing it or anything. It was just going to be one of the extra jobs that I do in my version of retirement. And
Yeah.
then I got attached with Podmatch, and I started to be in the top 10 for most of my first and second year. And I started making money. It's like, okay, I'll take
Yeah.
that. Cost $39 to join Podmatch to be a guest or a host or both. And if you're a host, you can make money. And so I just wanted to get my $39 a month back.
And back, yeah. My investment.
And yeah. And so when I doubled and tripled that, it was like, oh, well, this isn't so bad.
This is
As I
nice.
said, yeah, as I said, there are opportunities that you can charge people to be your guest. I have a lot of people that are trying to get on my podcast, and at some point I could charge them, but again, right now I have it as sort of my lead magnet to help to find people that I want to JV with or collaborate with, and that in that regard can end up being how you monetize.
Yeah, okay. Now, in all the podcasting process and everything about like the podcasting industry and the thing about podcasting, what is that specific thing that excites you the most about?
I really say the thing that excites me most is the ability to connect with people around the world. I I love learning, and I I say that I'm in class 3 or 4 hours a day every day, learning something new or sharing some knowledge for me to teach to other people. So it's one of those things where I never say, "Oh crap, I have a podcast to do." It's like, "Oh, I'm so excited that I get to meet someone and build relationships with them." There are people that I was so impressed and so engaged in the conversation that I had them back for a second podcast.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a common pattern. Most of the guests they say the human connection, the human connection, the human connection.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. If well, if you had to like share, that's true, you Toastmaster. If you had to share a couple of stories on regarding your podcast, kind of like some stories like, oh, so tell us some exciting stories about your podcast. What would be the like top three you share with us?
Uh, you know, one was, I guess, I had interviewed two people that promoted, or they were promoting a patch that Olympic athletes use, and and professional ball players to deal with pain and stem cell regrowth of their muscles and things like that. And so it was very interesting, intriguing as I went through and they talked about what they do. Well, then I fell off of a chest of drawers on my back and quickly said, okay, who was that I had that great interview with? Looked them up, called them, said, I need your stuff. And they next day aired the packages to me, and within hours I was feeling better. And so I was so thankful that I had this connection. But I interviewed a gentleman that's ha- he's a storyteller from Ireland originally, and now lives in Chicago. And it's Connor Cuneen. And his ability to just, you hated for the interview to end because he was so engaging. He was so funny. And he just made you feel like, oh my gosh, we should just be sitting here having a drink together, sharing laughs. And so, it just makes your day go by so fast. I think the other thing is I interviewed a lady who was found out when she was 40 that she was autistic. And I have a nephew who is my godchild, and he has autism. He, being male, he was tested at 3. But early on, as I was traveling for my other job, I realized that as a baby that he wasn't developing at 12 months and 18 months like I thought. And my sister-in-law was able to get services in, and those services that came to the house for speech therapy early on were so impactful. And so as this woman was talking about her daughter who she saw was having troubles at 12 in school, realized that she may have something going on and was tested for autism. And it came to light that girls are not tested as often. And as she was going through the testing for her daughter, she realized that a lot of her daughter's issues were the same as hers. Now, as an adult, she recognized the things that she went through as a child that her daughter's going through. And so she then was tested and had to pay a little bit of money to have it done because it's not normally done in adults. Anyway, she realized that she was autistic, and now her life's mission is to try to change that we do better early detection so that girls and boys that may have autism can get that early help like my godchild did. He's in college now. He's been on the dean's list, and he was integrated in normal classes all of his school time. So yes, he was bullied a lot when he was middle school, but he's turned into a wonderful adult who's managing with this special skills he has. Yeah. So my point is, you never know who's going to come onto the show and talk to you about something that could be the message you need to hear. I interview a lot of people on trauma.
Podcasting is like a
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's wonderful. And one of the strategies that I have to put into play is I have so many podcasts out there, and I need to start grouping them so people can quickly find, where are all my mindset ones? Where are my trauma ones? Where are all my LinkedIn special skills or my chat GPT or AI things? So you can quickly find the buckets that you need to help you in your business.
one of the things
Yes.
that I'm trying to wrap my head around is how you publish 6 to 10 episodes every week consistently. That's the thing that I'm still trying to like wrap around my head, but I just do it. I don't have a question, but I feel like
I think the question was, how do I consistently put out this many podcasts? Is that the question? So I am very happy to be looking at my calendar constantly. I manage through my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't get done. And again, I have to give high marks to Podmatch to be a great vehicle for me. But I have also probably 300 or 400 people in my website database that I haven't even got to yet. So I think the secret is just to continue to see who topic and subject will best resonate with my audience and bring them on. I have probably 9 or 10 PR firms that contact me with guests constantly every day. And again, I have, as I am campaigning for this Toastmaster role, have to limit the amount of podcasts I'm doing now between now and August election. So I'm scaling back to just doing 3 or 4 a week, which is different for me, but it allows me to add 3 or so interviews of district leaders around the world for Toastmasters. So it's not like I'm not on camera, it's just a different conversation.
Now, right now, you are being flooded with guests. So now you're basically teaching and teaching, which is a good you got the episode. And for me, one of the things that kind of like takes time editing the episode. So how do you?
So I use Zoom to record. I record to my computer as opposed to the cloud. And then I move all the videos to an external drive so I don't have to worry about space on my computer being too much used up. Um, and that backup is helpful to have. My daughter, as I said, I'm very fortunate. Whenever I decided to do podcasting, she was already making videos. She's an artist, and she was already making videos of her drawing. And so she had the software and the equipment to be able to do that. And she's pretty good. And so I say it's not for free. I just don't charge her rent for some months to, but if I had to go out and get someone to do it, but there are VAs that the VA service I have has the editing is one of the things. So you definitely, but that probably is the thing that takes the most time is to do the edits. But in my podcast, I try to make it as comfortable and natural as possible so she doesn't have very many edits to have to do.
So basically, the edit is usually maybe cut with the pre-talk and then maybe the post-talk and then maybe slap on.
Yeah, the only thing that I do live right now is my summits, and I haven't done one this year yet, but the summits are from 10 a.m. Eastern to 7 p.m., and I have about 12 to 15 speakers that come on every half hour, and that is live. So we, promote it through Facebook and as a live event through Zoom, and so people could come in and out through the day based on the speakers that they want to hear, and that is live, but it's recorded. If anybody signs up to be VIP, then they get the recording. And so if the speakers want their portion of the day cut out, they have to also sign up for an extra service, and my daughter has to then cut out their portion. If not, I just give them the whole thing and they can cut out their portion on their own.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying so behind the scenes and all that. Because your a lot of people are struggling to post one a week. Yeah.
No. Usually I do 3 or 4 a sitting, if you will, because I just found that it gives a broader audience. So the audience of the guest will be exposed to, if I have 3 people, 3 other guest audience. So then that makes the exposure that much better. So I try to do 3 or 4 postings a day. The other thing in my strategy for this coming year is to create a newsletter with my VA, where the newsletter is just going to be about 8 or 10 of my podcasts that they can click on the links there, and that will help be able to organize to just listen to the ones that you are resonating with at that time. So that is on my plan for 2025-26.
Yeah. What's the exposure like for the podcast right now? Like what listener, the coverage, the listener, the download numbers like right now for the podcast?
So I get more responses to my website itself, more so than YouTube in feedback, if you will. So I usually, right now, I think I have, I don't know, 10 or 15,000 responses that I have to get back with, but it's usually, several hundred for each episode, and they just respond to the on the website.
Yeah, the question I'm asking on the audio as like the audio dashboard.
I don't actually have that answer. I will have to look that up because I just mostly look at what YouTube is doing. So I should check iTunes and Spotify and be able to answer that. So I'm sorry, I never have thought of that because I'm so much for the video. I don't know what my audio responses are. So I guess I should do that after 3 years. I should know that. Shame on me.
You're not answering my question. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I guess
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Are, are you checking? Are you?
I still can't hear you.
Oh,
You're breaking up.
oh,
No. Yeah? Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. I was saying, the strategy you mentioned is one of those things you can really do very well.
I lost you again.
I said the strategy of organizing your episodes to different topics. Something you
Yes.
can easily do on YouTube.
Yeah, I think if I organize it, it should help the YouTube search engine a little bit more so because the titles or the theme of each of my podcasts may not be as specific and to be putting it in the different buckets. So I created an Excel spreadsheet that I bucketize, if you will, the different topics or the different themes so that I can then have it put out that way. Right now on YouTube, it's just by the theme and the number. And again, I think that's harder to search for.
Oh, I think that's the challenge every podcast. No, I see that's the challenge every podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
Quickly,
good.
I just wanted to share what are some projections you have for your podcast so that I can maybe check in on you maybe to a month, 2 months, 3.
Well, the modest goal would be for me to at least get to 500 subscribers by the end of this year.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Okay.
try to double what I have, and the stretch goal would be to be 1,000 or more by the end of the year. So we'll see what we can do. Whether or not I find somebody that I trust that can help me with SEO, we'll see. But
I just want to quickly ask you the most important part. Where can listeners learn more about? Yeah, I don't trust this network. Where can listeners learn more about?
so they definitely need to go to Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast, and that's findyourleadershipconfidence.com. And you can find me at Vicki Noethling on YouTube. Just search Vicki Noethling, what you see on screen. And we will, please do subscribe. Thank you.
Please subscribe so that we can get to that 500 subscribers goal. Probably
That's
maybe in
right,
2 or
that's
3
right.
months faster.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vicky, for
Thank
coming on the
you.
podcast and sharing your story and your journey and giving me some of the. I'm going to start using.
Awesome. You have a great rest of your day.
That's it for today's episode of my podcast story. I am Wisdom Okonkwo, and I hope this conversation sparked new ideas and gave you a deeper look into the heart of podcasting. If you've loved this episode, consider supporting the show by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/wisdomhq. Every bit helps keep the stories going. And hey, don't forget to follow, rate, and share this podcast with another podcaster or creator who would find it helpful. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.